In the western Algarve region of southern Portugal, a growing community of land stewards is coming together to support each other and increase the scale and effectiveness of ecosystem restoration efforts. The goal of this collaboration is to improve soil quality, water availability, biodiversity, and local livelihoods in the bioregion. This series highlights the people, places, and actions restoring the ecological, social, and economic health of our ecosystem. Join us on a journey through this place we call home and discover the regeneration stories unfolding here.
I've started to ask myself the questions: how do you take care of a piece of land that you all of a sudden own? That brought me from the reality here in Portugal, it being a very dry place. It started with water. Through a permaculture course, I started with surveying, doing earthworks in a way that the water can be spread, slowed, and can sink into the land. That's the 3 S's. From the journey of water, I got to fertility and soil. The Soil Food Web School taught me a lot about the microorganisms in the soil and how we can multiply these organisms, how we can produce good quality compost, how we can make extracts from the compost, how we can multiply the biology in a tea, and how we can use this to create a healthy soil. So then we have two of the 3 points of the triangle in my perspective, which is water and soil, and then the third is vegetation, so the plants. These are the 3 elements of our natural ecosystems that when you understand all 3, you can restore any land that you'll find. As long as you make sure that the water runs in the correct ways, as long as you make sure that the soil is fertile and there is plenty of organic matter that comes from a diverse soil cover, yeah, you can make a landscape healthy again. What was it? It was 2015. I came to Portugal with a friend for a month of surfing. We spent a couple of weeks surfing around the west coast and the south coast here, and we looked at the map and saw this green patch in the middle of it and realized, wow, how sweet would it be to live there without having any attention whatsoever of actually coming to live here. Before we knew it, we found this place, which is a project of 100 hectares. So yeah, in 2016 we landed here, and then we had a vision of what we wanted to do, but we didn't know much. I came fresh out of university, I had no background in ecology whatsoever. But we just started. So I think that's the most important thing in life, is just to start something, and the rest you'll figure out along the way. And so we did. So it was a lot of self-study, a lot of trialing out, a lot of trying out things and making mistakes, and along the way getting closer to the things that you can keep on doing and that will have a positive impact. Once we started to observe more closely, especially after the fire, when all the biomass had left, because basically before the fire, like you'll see now, there's a lot of bush, there's a lot of green, it looks very healthy, but you don't see what's underneath. And when the fire took all the bushes and all the vegetation away, you could very clearly see the signs of erosion that were being created by the machines. So there's a cork harvest happening every 10 years. And every 5 years they'll clean everything around the cork trees so that they can get to the cork trees to harvest them. You'll see a lot of these 2.5 meter wide tracks where the bulldozers were driving into the land to be able to get closer to the cork trees. As well as all the results that happen after those paths are created. So the path is the start, and then when it rains you'll get a lot of water, and the water takes the easiest way down, so it will follow those spots. And then a lot of water concentrating on these spots means it will start eating up the soil. And little by little, yeah, that's a pattern of degradation where the water is no longer being taken up and infiltrating into the soil, but it's finding these pre-made pots down the hill. It became very clear that that's the first thing to fix. It doesn't make sense to start planting a bunch of trees if the underlying foundation is not able to hold water in the land. So that became the first step. Already before the fire, I had made the first dam, I made the first swales that kind of slow spread and sink the water through the landscape and improve the infiltration. And the fire just became an opportunity to do more of it. And after that was done, I started to look into trees and into planting and how to do it in a way that you plant a tree and it actually survives. Because in here we've got heavy clay soils, it gets very hot in summer, there's little organic matter. Yeah, that kind of kick-started my journey into soil fertility. And to understand more about soil fertility, I found a school in the United States, the Soil Food Web School, that kind of explains how all the microbiological processes, all the little critters, all the little bacteria, fungi, nematodes, protozoa, that kind of are an underlying foundation of soil fertility and nutrient cycling. So I started making compost. I bought a microscope to assess the quality of these composts, compost extracts and teas as liquid amendments that you can give to the trees to stimulate their plants' metabolism. I worked together with some local people from the Restore Nature Foundation that got some teachers over from Brazil to explain us more about Syntropic Agroforestry, which is a system in which you use the principles of stratification and natural succession to imitate what nature does in terms of making a site that is ungrown and is pure rock into a site that harbors plant diversity. So in all the plantations that I've done here, instead of planting a single fruit tree, I've always looked at how can I use other species that will help this fruit tree into making this place a good home. Over the past year, I've installed a large water deposit that stores 300,000 liters of water. And all that water is basically a preparation for installing a larger Syntropic Agroforestry system. And the goal is to find an alternative more financially viable as well as ecologically sustainable that will motivate investors as well as landowners to incorporate or to implement this model rather than just planting pine or planting eucalyptus. There should be an alternative that is ecological as well as easy enough to implement. Yeah, and that's the thing that we will be focusing on over the past couple of years. This is not a plantation that will be done in 1 year. This will be something that I'm now asking permission for in collaboration with the ICNF. The goal is that the warehouse that I'm currently building here will serve as an intermediate solution, as an interim solution for a larger warehouse. It's like a multi-purpose warehouse where there will be a production location, there will be a laboratory environment to do the quality control for soil analysis as well as compost analysis, but also a space to host people, to host events, to have people over looking at a beamer, hosting a training or a workshop where we'll spend some time explaining theory, after which we'll go out into the land to do the practical part of an implementation, whether that is surveying with the laser to prepare for the diggers to come, whether that is installing a check dam in a valley that is eroded and is losing water throughout the winter, or whether that is how to prepare a plantation, how to do the soil preparations, what organic matter to incorporate to make it fertile, and how to choose the plants that you're going to incorporate. So yeah, the goal is to keep doing what I've been doing and inviting others to join the process, to share what others have shared with me. The most obvious of challenges is obviously water. In these landscapes, there is not many places where there is an abundant source of water to take from. So that's a challenge which I've been trying to solve by storing more water in the landscape during winter and finding the places where you can extract that water, because the water that you put into the land is not lost. We don't need to build big lakes to be able to use water. We can store water inside the land and find the strategic places in the landscape, which we can see based on the vegetation, where we can construct wells or where we can tap a spring so that we can extract some of the water that we'll use during summer. There are many options to do it, but generally you'll have to find a way to buffer the water that is available in winter to be able to use it in summer. In Portugal, there is just very little organic matter. So to have a compost production that is diverse in materials, it's a lot bigger challenge. Like, I think anybody who wants to restore a piece of land, they would be well off distributing tons and tons of soil cover on there, whether it's hay, whether it's straw, whether it's wood chips. Anything will suffice to create a layer of organic matter that protects the soil. But it's just something we don't have readily available here. So the challenge is, and this is where Syntropic Agroforestry comes in as well, is to grow your own mulch while you're growing your productive fruit orchard. So you're not only putting the fruit trees there, you're also growing all the support species that you can readily chop and drop. So you have a lot of mulch and organic matter that will make up your soil of the future. Our place, this planet, needs a lot of this effort, a lot of humans taking care of their environment in a way that they leave it behind in a better way than they found it when they came. In a way, I find it an honor to do that work and help others to slowly do my part in the job that we have on our hands all together, which is making sure we don't dry out over here, and to make sure that we have diverse soil cover, that we retain our fertile forest on the top of the hills, that we have an influx of fertility to feed into the lower lands, and just to make sure that we are a resilient ecosystem that can harbor a quality of life for all the inhabitants, us as well as the animals and all the plants. Because it's so simple to forget that the one reason that we are alive is because the sun shines and the plants grow. But in its most simple form, that is the case. So I think it's our job to make sure that can keep on happening.